Hey guys, a lot of people had some trouble on this quiz, so I want to take a few minutes and talk about the different problems. I've got them all already worked out here, and the key here is on course Dan. So I just want to kind of talk through them somewhat quickly. The main, or the most common mistake I saw people make on problem one was ignoring the fact that this is in quadrant two. The thing is, if this is in quadrant two, what that means is if we draw it into here, draw it into quadrant two like this, uh, sine tells us the opposite over hypotenuse, so we get 5 over 13. And this down here is going to be negative 12. Use Pythagorean theorem to come up with it. But remember, when you're dealing with this, the coordinates of this point are negative 12, 5. And that makes sense because it's over in the third quadrant. So you get that, and when you plug into the formulas down here for sine 2 theta, you get sine 2 times sine theta, which has this negative on it, times this, and it gives you negative 120 over 169. And so if you messed up the sign on that, then probably you also got a negative here instead of a plus. This plus, of course, comes from the fact that this is minus the cosine, and the cosine here is negative. So this winds up giving you a plus here, and your answer turns into this. All right, problem two. Let's see, up here, theta lies in quadrant 1 and cosine is 4 over 7. Most people did pretty good on problem part A, because what you have to do there is we're in quadrant 1, and the formula for cosine, you can really do that without really having to draw anything for this first part, because cosine of 2 theta, if you use this formula for it here, then you can just plug in the cosine that was given to you, and it spits out minus 17 over 49. Now, to do cosine 3 theta, we didn't talk about a formula for this one. What I wanted people to do was to recognize that cosine 3 theta is equal to, actually what I have written here is wrong. It's not cosine theta plus cosine 2 theta. It's cosine theta plus 2 theta. And so what you have to do there is use the sum formula for cosine. So you use this for one of your arguments and this for the other, and you get cosine 2 theta, minus sine 2 theta. Now, of course, to come up with all those numbers, cosine theta was given to us up top, so that takes care of this one. Cosine of 2 theta, we came up with that in part A. Sine of theta is this here, which we can get from, I didn't draw the triangle, but you can draw the triangle and get that. And sine 2 theta, you can work that out separately over here. So this winds up being our answer. All right, problem 3. Let's see. 3 is the toughest problem here, I would say. Part 1 says, theta is in quadrant 3 and the tangent is 3/4. So we're asked to find cosine of theta over 2. So first up, you want to draw the angle in. So you've got tan theta is 3 over 4. So I'm going to draw it in down here in quadrant 3. So the opposite over adjacent is going to be 3 over 4. But both of those are negative because you're in quadrant 3. And the coordinate of this point down here is negative 4, negative 3. So you can read off of there that cosine theta is negative 4/5. So then, once you've got that, you can plug into the formula for cosine theta over 2. Cosine theta over 2 is plus or minus square root of 1 plus cosine theta over 2. So when you plug into that up here, you get 1 plus negative 4/5 over 2, which turns into this, which gives you, oh wow, I got part of this off the screen, which gives you this for your answer. Now, how do we know it's negative? Well, it's negative because theta over 2 is in quadrant 2. Up here, notice if theta is in quadrant 3, your quadrants look like this. This is, I'm going to do it in degrees, 90, 180, and 270. So if you're somewhere in this area here, then your theta is going to be between 180 and 270. And you can just divide by 2. Theta over 2 is going to be between 90 and 135. And theta over 4 is going to be between 45 and 67.5. So between 90 and 135, that is going to be in this area here. So that's in quadrant 2. And if you're talking about between 45 and 67.5, 45 is up here, 67.5 is up there. So that's in quadrant 1. So down here, theta over 2 is in quadrant 2. So, and theta over 4 is in quadrant 1. If you look at the simple trig, the asimple trig chart, let's see, in quadrant 2, cosine is negative. In quadrant 1, cosine is positive. And so we get plus 1. This right here would be plus cosine of theta over 2. So that's why it's minus 1 over root 10 divided by 2. And then you can simplify this thing under the radical to get this. And that's the answer. All right. I guess that's it. If you have any particular questions about your quiz, or if you have any follow-ups about anything that I did on here, feel free to shoot me an email or catch me during, keep in mind, you're welcome to contact me. You can really contact me anytime on Google Hangouts, but if it's during my office hours, which are 10 to 12 and 1 to 3 every day but Friday, if you catch me during those hours, I can, drop everything and give you attention. If it's outside of that, I can still probably do it. Anyway, that's a review of Quiz 12.